I'm Juliet Clark. I'm the CEO of Superbrand Publishing. And today we're going to talk about the 7 pillars of author platform building. You guys, this is the part that no one does, and it's really key to selling your book. So we're going to talk about what are those essential elements of increasing your reach, authority, and book sales as an author in the digital age. And it's really important. The important part of that sentence is the digital age, because you have to have a digital presence to sell books. Now, with these, first of all, let's start with what is an author platform. It's a combination of tools, connections, and strategies that are going to help reach your readers and sell more books. So it's really the confluence of all of these items on your platform engaged together, which is one reason we talk about at Superbrand how you should be starting this part of your journey before you even start your book. It's getting yourself direct access to potential readers. If you're a nonfiction author, it's really establishing your credibility and genre in your field. It's being able to market leverage, have marketing leverage with publishers. So a lot of people don't know this, but it's very difficult to get a traditional contract these days because, of course, publishing is a business and they want to make sure that you have the support behind what you're teaching and promoting in this book to be able to make them money as well as increase your visibility. And it's really taking independence and control over your career. A lot of us are out there, and when we write a book, it's really about our authority and having control over our intellectual property. So bringing all these pieces that I'm going to talk about today is very important, because you're going to be leveraging every single piece. And believe it or not, there is a very large learning curve to implementing some of these items. So let's jump into it. First of all, the first pillar is build an email list. And a lot of people will tell you email marketing is dead, but I'm going to tell you the number one reason why you need this list. And it's because you don't own social media. You could have a huge following over on Facebook or LinkedIn or, wherever your growth platform is. But at the end of the day, and I've seen it happen a couple times now, you are one algorithm away from losing your entire audience. So this becomes an asset that not only you own, but you can build. You're going to send out a lot of promotional items, storytelling. You're going to do a lot of things with these people that you would do inside your social media. This also allows you, if you are a business owner, this is a company asset. So there are a lot of different things you can do with it. So you need your own list. Like I said, unlike social media followers, this belongs to you. It's also direct communication without any algorithm interference. And if you have a controversial topic, this is especially true, because you've probably seen in the last couple of years that those controversial topics they don't get as much visibility as they should. And that is algorithm interference. And you also have higher conversion rates. You're speaking directly to your sellers or to your buyers and readers, as opposed to being out on social media and kind of getting lost in the shuffle. It also allows you to build some long-term relationships. And if you're someone who has more than one book, this is very important. I know for me, I have authors that I follow all the time. I pre-buy their books. Anything they send out, I'm interested in. So your email list is the first thing you should think about. And when I say email list, I just want to tell you guys, this is not going out and using your Gmail account. It's having a mail server where you're actually able to communicate and tag and do all sorts of different things with your list that you want to do. So pillar 2 is creating an author website or a blog. Now, a website is very important because people are going to want to know who you are. They want to know about that book information and purchase links. This is also where you're going to put what we call an opt-in or your email sign-up form. So it may be a funnel that is for a newsletter or a blog, or maybe it's for your YouTube channel. Whatever content you are serving to your audience, and you must have content, because content is your trust builder. This is also where people can get contact information. And one of the most important things is your media kit. If you have press inquiries, people are going to want to see a video trailer of you, maybe a speaker trailer. They're going to want to know where else you've been. Maybe it's a list of the podcast you've been on, so people can hear, podcasters and media people can hear how you present on TV and radio. So all of those things are very important, and even more important, keeping it up to date, because this is where you're going to do your storytellers. This is where you're going to get people excited about your characters. If you're a fiction author, if you're a nonfiction author, this is where you're going to have your coaching, where you can maybe transition those people from that $20 or $30 book into a higher ticket program, product, or service. Your third pillar is creating that social media presence. So the first thing about this is, where is your audience at? I hear all the time people talking about, oh, I'm over on Facebook, but maybe you have a business book and you really should be over on LinkedIn. So your first assignment here is to figure out where that actual audience is at that you're connecting with. You want to be on that platform. Now, I'm not saying Facebook's not a great platform, but if you're a business owner, the money is over on LinkedIn. That's been proven. So make sure that you have a place to build a community if you want to. Facebook is a great place to do that. You must have visuals. So whether it's an Instagram account, a YouTube account, no matter what it is, you need to have that visual presence. Now, what's cool about what's coming through the visual world is, with AI now, this gives some of those more those fiction novels, this gives you a place to actually create characters, maybe create shorts, which you can share over on YouTube as well. It's so much more valuable, instead of just painting a picture in the reader's mind, of them actually having a visual of what your character looks like. Twitter can be a great place, as well as LinkedIn, to connect with industry professionals. You can participate in writing communities and share updates. And it's popular for both literary fiction and nonfiction. So it's very important to start this early as well. You can share your cover, you can share ideas for the book and see what resonates with that audience and what doesn't. And then supplement that with your direct communication from pillar one, your email. So this may be where you drop that opt-in and get people transitioned from social media over into your email list. Your social media strategy. Choose one or two platforms. I know so many of you really want to, go big. You want to be everywhere. But the truth is, one or two platforms where your target readers allows you to really spend quality time there and interact with those readers, instead of spreading yourself way too thin. Create consistent content, whether this is your blog. Again, I'm going to mention YouTube, Instagram, shorts, things that are visually oriented, that it's valuable content that you can serve your community with. If you're a nonfiction author, share your expertise. All of you are writing books, so you know about the concept of show, not tell. So you're actually showing people that you are an expert without saying, hire me, I'm over here, I'm an expert. I'm going to give you guys a great example of this. Almost everybody has interactions with a real estate agent, and you can see the ones who share great information, and then those who say, I've been in business for 50 years. I'm the top agent in the community. They're sort of bragging instead of really showing people that they know their business. Being able to engage authentically. Don't be what I call the invisible author. And what I mean by that is those people that are, I want to be famous, but I don't want anybody to see me. If you get in, jump in with comments, participate in conversations, and build genuine connections with your readers and other authors. So that engagement allows people to get to know you. If you are a nonfiction author who's telling a story at the beginning of your book, be vulnerable, and be vulnerable online as well. And here's the part everybody forgets: analyze and adjust. Look at the analytics on what you're posting and seeing what is really resonating and what is not. And that goes without saying. Do more of what people are interacting with and do less of what people aren't. You have to remember, when you're marketing is a guess. until it isn't. So you really have to pay attention to those analytics and see what is resonating and what isn't. Pillar 4, establishing your authority and expertise. Authority matters when you are a nonfiction author, and demonstrating why you're the right person at the right time to write this book builds credibilities with readers and industry professionals. So your authority can come from your professional background. Maybe you have academic credentials. Also specialized knowledge. So if you're a guy who teaches woodworking, you don't necessarily need a professional background or academic credentials. You just need to have a really strong background in that specialized knowledge. Sharing your unique personal experiences. So maybe you're a leadership coach and you've been leading with a very large company. Maybe you're the CEO of a company that has thousands of people that you've been leading. You've made this business profitable for shareholders. And so you want to share these unique experiences here that brought you here into writing this book. And then also share the previous publications you've been in. And that I would even extend that to conferences you've spoken at, places you've been. One of our authors not only has articles written, but she regularly speaks at medical conferences around the world. And so share that as a professional background, because every little bit that you can share enhances that credibility and why you're the right person for this. And don't be afraid to toot your own horn. So many people don't want to do that. It feels out of the box for them, but you really do need to get yourself out there and get yourself well known. Okay. Leveraging content creation is pillar 5. So that content creation is your trust builder. When people see that you have content that will get them instant gratification, if you are a nonfiction author, if you can give them tips that they can expand on and see that they have results right away, your content has done its job. If you're a if you're a fiction author, this might be where you blog about characters, you blog about other stories, you blog about stories within your stories. So any way that you can share content really allows people to get to know you, your style, and what you're all about. So looking at the way that you want to create this really goes along with your personality. You want something that you will do consistently. So if you're a blogger, once a week with your blog. If you have a blog on your website, anything over 6,000 words indexes you automatically over on the search engines, and it also improves your website SEO. It showcases your writing style. It also provides shareable content. So this is a way that you can cut down little quotes. If you have guests on, you can highlight them, and it builds an audience slowly over time as people pick you up and see, oh my gosh, I love this person. I love the way they write. I love the content. And now I'm a follower. Podcasting. This is my preference. Reaches with audio, and it's your first audience. My particular content or my podcast also has video content as well and a blog. So we combine all 3 modalities there. It also creates an intimate connection. People are hearing your voice with its video. They're seeing you in action, and it really showcases your personality. Believe it or not, your readers want to know you as well as read your book. That is something we all know. Look at the popularity of some of the keynotes we're seeing at events these days. It's also a networking opportunity. So my particular podcast, I use as a way to get to know other authors and industry leaders. So I have them as guests. So that is always a possibility as well. Video content actually right now has the highest rate of engagement, and it just show your authentic personality. It works well on all social platforms, and here's the key to video. You can repurpose it. So now you've done that long form video content, let's say it's from a podcast, you can break that into shorter formats. So shorts are very popular right now. If you don't know what a short is, it's a video clip that's 1 to 2 minutes. Those are great for social media because a lot of platforms will not allow you to put on a full half-hour or hour interview, but you can certainly pique the interest into going with that long form with those little hits that people go, I want to see more of that. I'm going to go look at the long form content now. It's also a great way you can make graphics from it. There are all sorts of things you can do to leverage content creation here. And the key to content creation is regularly publishing. I talk to people all the time who'll tell me, and I just did, they'll tell me I'm a regular blogger, and then I'll go over to their website and I'll see they haven't blogged for 9 months. You do have to keep it up. It's consistent. You want people to really, really want to be excited. Like, I know this is coming out every Monday. I want to open it up and read. The same with podcasting. Podcasting is amazing because it's binge worthy, as my friend Tracy Hazard says. If I find a podcast I like, I will listen to an episode, and it's just like an author with books. If I find a book I like, I'm going to go back and read that author's backlist. Same with podcasting. I'm going to go back and listen to previous episodes and then subscribe so I can get future episodes as well. So, content strategy. So first of all, plan the themes of your content. This is one thing that you can't just fly by the seat of your pants. We always have a content schedule where it says, create a schedule. We have a content calendar. So we have 2 to 3 months already planned out what we're going to do. So when you have those content themes, get your calendar out at the same time. Maybe 1 month it's a particular theme and you have 4 or 5 podcasts, blogs, whatever it is that you're going to put out. You have a schedule for it. That will keep you on track to consistency. Also, look at the books that your audience is reading. Look at your expertise and your audience interest. Play it up a little bit, mix it up. Sometimes I have a guest, sometimes I don't. Sometimes we have a monthly theme, sometimes we don't. It all depends on what's going on. I'm going to give you a great example. If you were to go over to our podcast in the month of December, you're going to probably see a lot of planning content for 2026, having a content creation calendar, looking at what are the things I'm going to develop this year. Am I going to develop a podcast? If so, what do I need to do that? So having that consistency in here really helps your audience be able to follow you, and then repurpose the heck out of that content. We actually, when we release a podcast, we have the podcast, the blog, and the video on our website, but we come back after 3 months and we refresh all of that. We let our client or our actual guests do a little bit of the heavy lifting, excuse me, and then we come in later and we follow up and we promote some more. So there's always some promotion going on. That can be figured out in your schedule, but have that schedule so you know when to record or when to write, give it time to edit, and then have a release date well in advance. We are always 2 to 3 months ahead because life happens. We all know life happens. So get it out a little bit ahead so that you don't get behind if something does happen. Pillar 6, networking and industry connections. These are so important. Building relationships with other authors, influencers, and professionals. These are people who can actually help with your book launch. Remember, your book launch is going to be a combination of social media, possibly sending out swipes, email campaign, and having a launch campaign there. So you're going to want to have guest blog posts. You're going to want to set that up for your launch. If you have your own podcast or blog, you might want to do a what we call a pod swap or a blog swap, where you start getting together with those industry professionals and influencers. Maybe you have them on your show, they come on, you go on their show. Also, book endorsements and blurbs. Being able to take those review comments in ARCs and sharing them with your audience about the book. Do joint promotions and events. And here's the thing that I really want to stress. Everybody waits to get this together until they're about to launch their book. If you're a nonfiction author, start early. You can be out there talking about your expertise and just dropping that you have a book coming soon. You don't have to wait to promote. If you're going to do that, maybe you have a landing page that says, get on the list for our book release, and you're transitioning people from other people's podcasts or blog posts into your list, getting them ready for that launch. And then have those mentorship opportunities. You can create them where someone mentors you on how to do this book launch and or how to put this all together, and you mentor other people. One thing I have to tell you about the publishing industry is everybody expects that they're going to make a living on their own books, with royalties being at, $1, $2, $3, $4 per book sale. It's what you do with that book afterwards. And that's where this networking and industry connections comes in a really big way, is you're able to leverage that into a coaching program with a higher ticket and allow those people to promote that as well. And then networking opportunities for authors. Go to writing conferences. So that's where you're going to meet those agents, editors, fellow authors. Learn all about this industry. So many people jump into this experience without really understanding the industry. And I liken it to, you could ask me to build a bridge. I'm not an engineer. I could probably build one, but I wouldn't recommend you drive over it. So just like you're building expertise in that, you've built it in the field that you're in, build it in the publishing industry as well. Know what the process is and what your expectations are so you can set them correctly. Join online communities. This might be where you're able to promote your book and meet new partners. So join those Facebook groups, get on the Discord servers. There are a lot of writing forums over on LinkedIn and other places. Also, local event, participate in readings, book clubs, literary festivals in your area. FanX is coming up in my area soon, and I always love the books that are there and the book booths that are there. Stop by and talk to those authors, go to those events and see what they're up to and what's next for them. And then professional organizations, join genre specific. If you're a fiction author, go join those fictions. If you're a nonfiction author, go join those associations and offer resources, and go to those networking events and let people get to know you on that basis. And then pillar 7, develop your own personal brand. Remember that this is not someplace where we're going to go and we're just going to do this 24/7. You have to have a personal brand. So know what your core values are. What is the visual identity? Hire a branding expert if you need it, because that's someone who can shape that message. And I think we should all do that at first. Hire someone to create your first funnel, because you want your messaging to be very solid so people know who you are and what you're offering. This is one thing I learned in advertising when I was there. Perception is reality. Your brand is not what you think it is. It's what that audience thinks it is. So check in with them. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to get feedback on your personal brand. Know what your voice and tone is going to be. And most of all, get that messaging down pat. Anytime you have mixed messages, you have lost your audience. So make sure that that is on tapped from the get-go. And then personal branding elements. Make sure that you have professional author photos, that you have a consistent color palette, and that color palette actually matches the mood that you want. I'm going to give you a great example of something that didn't. I used to have someone that would come to me, the Red Hot Healer. She didn't understand why things weren't going her way. Well, when we did a little bit focus grouping, she had a lot of red. Red is not. It might be connected with physical healing, but not energetic healing. You need more soothing colors for that. So make sure, and this is why you might want to hire a branding expert. Make sure that it's consistent across all platforms. Have a recognizable logo, recognizable font. And then make sure that your social media presence, your templates are cohesive across social media platforms. So if you're going to be on LinkedIn and you're going to be on Instagram, you may not have the same content, but make sure that everything looks the same and is well branded. The same with voice and messaging. You need a distinctive writing style that people recognize, consistent tone across platforms, and then have a clear author promise to your readers. What is the problem that you solve consistently if you're a nonfiction author? If you're a fiction author, what is that promise to your readers? Is it action? Is it something else? So make sure that you do all of this with authentic storyteller telling. Again, we have that show versus tell concept. Don't just tell people how good your book is. Show them the testimonials that other people have said about your book, because then you're showing that influencers saying your book is great. Influencers are recommending this. It's not just all about you, it's about your reader perception. And don't ever forget that on there. So the really important part of this is making sure when you go to launch that you have integrated all of this. Building an email list, having a funnel. This has a very big learning curve, and it's going to be a little bit trial and error. Your website and your blog and your content, again, another learning curve. So make sure you give yourself enough time that you can integrate this on your launch. Social media engagement, authority, content creation. Content creation has a big learning curve as well as fitting it into your schedule. And then having that personal brand and networking. Each pillar supports and enhances the other. So all of this is comprehensive and comes together for your visibility and your book sales. So make sure that you have everything you need to get this all into place and ready for your book launch. So your book launch is just not something that, okay, my book is done, it's at the publisher, I have 2 to 3 months to get this together. All of this should be done 12 to 18, or at least started 12 to 18 months in advance of your book launch, so that it's all together integrated and it can be launched in a very cohesive way. So next steps for you. Assess your current platform. That's the very first thing you need to do. What elements do you have in place already? Identify the gaps and start to address them. And really, really be honest about this. Look at other people in your genre's platforms as well, and look and see, do they have 100,000 followers and you have 5? Then you have a lot of work to do. But don't delude yourself into thinking that this is all going to be easy. It wasn't easy for that person you're competing with, and it won't be easy for you. Set your priorities. Focus on establishing that website and email first as your foundation, and then create a timeline to getting this all scheduled. I just mentioned about in December, we make a big push for what is your 2026 platform going to look like. So be realistic about how you're going to implement each pillar over 3 to 6 months, to drawing that out into a 12 to 18 month process. And then be smart and consistent. Start small. You're not going to be able to address all of this at once. So figure out, what is the chunk I'm going to do next, and how long will it realistically take, and how can I do something small every day to get me to that goal, and then be consistent about doing that. I know so many people start and then they get busy. This is really something that you have to schedule. And here's something I'm going to tell you that I think is so important. If it's your first book, engage with someone to help you with all of this so you thoroughly understand the steps. This is going to be a process where you're going to need help messaging. You're going to need help building. So be sure that you engage an expert for that first time through. Once you understand the mechanics of a funnel, the mechanics of what you need on your website for digital marketing. I see so many people that have a website, but there's no digital marketing platform on it. And they honestly tell me, I didn't know I needed that. They don't have an email list set up, so they're not even building towards that launch. So remember that your author platform is a long-term investment into your writing career. And if you are a nonfiction author that also has a coaching program and all of those things you're selling on your site, it is really a long-term growth strategy for your business as well. So focus on sustainable growth rather than overnight success, because that bestseller campaign that gets you to #1 and then nobody ever buys your book again is not your goal. You want people to buy over and over again. Thank you. Thanks for showing up today. And I hope you'll start your steps in building this soon.